Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Buy Round interview show. Today, I am joined by a recently 100 gamer, one of the best finishers currently in the NRL. I'm going to unpack what he's managed to achieve in such a short time. Welcome, Ronaldo Mulitalo.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Great to see you. Currently on the buy. What are you? What does Ronaldo Mulitalo get up to on the buy, apart from obviously coming in here?
Yeah, cruising around, trying to get the body right. You know what it's like this time of the year, and catching up with all my family and friends that probably missed me through the first half of the year, and just going back and visiting mum, getting the hugs in while I can, and then back to training yesterday. So getting prepped for the doggies next week.
Yeah, well, don't get too prepped for that, lad. They're back. You're talking actually. Just you've moved house.
Yeah.
You sort of not had to move house, but you were just saying that you'd get bombarded by fans when you were living a bit closer to Shark Park.
Yeah, like obviously, you always think it's a cool thing to have heaps of people knocking on your door, and sometimes you come back from training and there will be kids lined up outside the front, and I'm just driving in and they all got their Sharks kit on, and obviously kids being kids, and but yeah, just a bit more privacy at my spot now, and obviously I got my partner that stays there by herself, and she gets a bit freaked out when people are knocking on the door and it's just her at home. So and I'm away obviously, but yeah, it's good though.
Yeah, it always fascinates me that because like I love rugby league and what we're about, and we are just knockabout lads that live in normal places. That some people would say that's not normal, but you go down, or certainly when I was playing, you go down to Cronulla and you'd see NRL players all the time, like at Northies, at cafes. It's just normal life, and like I see what's happening with Reece Walsh and him getting bombarded with fans, which is great. But I hope we never go past that, like common man, just knockabout lads that can go, and we don't need, you don't need security every time you just go to a cafe or go for a beer, or you're in roped off areas all the time, because it is good to connect with your fans, but there's a line and everybody's got to be responsible for it, the fans included, the players, that it doesn't get blared and go too far.
Don't get me wrong, like I love, like even when I'm having a beer, talking to people, interacting, that's the best opportunity to let them into our life a little bit. And you can see some of the boys are vlogging now, and we're getting into that, and just letting the fans into it's a bit of our life outside of footy. And like you said, we're just knock about our blokes. But it's always nice seeing kids in that. You always think back when you were a child, you saw your favorite guy out there and you want to get a photo or something signed, and that's all well and good. But the one thing that my pet peeve is like manners. Like I always, sometimes like when kids are just like, sign my thing, like I want to sign it, but then I'm like, oh, what's the magic word for us? I always make them say like please or something, and I don't want to be a dick about it, but it's like, you still want that human nature of our lives. And
just be kind.
Yeah, that's all.
And consider it, and you'll do it, mate. The other day, I said this to Charlie. I was going for a run. I was like going over like round by Brighton.
Yep.
I was running along the Esplanade there. And this geezer's like, hey, Jimmy, can we get a photo? I was like, mate, I'm running.
I'm mid-run.
No, like I'm not breaking my stride. Do like a grown bloke.
Yeah.
Like, even if it was a kid, you're like, oh, maybe. I'm like, no, I'm not stopping now. Like, I'm halfway through this run. I hate breaking stride.
You probably had a couple of times, Jam, where you just be at a cafe, just stuffing your face, and you just like forget you're in this public space, and then I've got all this food in my mouth, and someone's like coming up to talk to me. I'm like, I got pancakes all in my mouth. I got shit dripping from the side of my face. I'm like, and then can we have a photo? I'm like, let me just clean myself up.
Well, mate, I'm a scrubber. Like I am. I very rarely dress up. Like my hair's hardly ever done. People be like, can I get an
example?
Can I get a photo? I'm like,
I look like shit.
Can you just hold on a second? I'll fix me. I don't know what you're gonna do with this photo, because I look like I've just.
I go to Woolworths up the road from mine, and just the randomest stuff. Like I just pack up, see whatever's out there, and I just grab it, chuck it on, just look like this out of it, dude. And I get there and I forget, everyone's like looking at me and I can have a photo. I'm like, well, I look like shit, but you got to take it with it. So
Or you just, or like a gym session or whatever, or
Yeah.
I suppose you probably wouldn't get out after you'd like shower up and that, but when you're just in the public and it's like, oh, can I get a photo? And you're like,
you got the little
sweat everywhere. It's like,
do I stink? Do I want to take a photo next to this person?
Cheers. Mate, just back to Sharks, obviously celebrating 100 games. It's quite the milestone, isn't it? And like 24 now. That's you've racked them up pretty quickly.
Yeah, like obviously, you always dream of playing just that one game, as cliche as that sounds. But I still don't even see myself as an NRL player. Like I see myself as an NRL player, but I don't see myself as a true NRL player. If that makes like
I know exactly what you're saying. Like you are, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, like I just don't feel like I've achieved what I wanted to, and I don't feel like I've earned the respect of the NRL yet, and older blokes. So I always feel like that. I value those guys that have come before me, that have played this game for so long and endured that whole time through, and I just want to go through that feeling. And obviously 100 games is important to me, and I value that so much, but I also value the opinions of the past blokes that have gone before me and how they felt and how they put their bodies through that for so long. And I just want to be able to go through that and look back and go, then I feel that sense of their belonging, I think. And it's my club, and I love playing for them, and I love doing that. But for me, I still don't feel like a true NRL player. I don't know why, but
Mate, you know what? I reckon you'll have that for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
Like I used to say to myself, I want to make it. Yeah. I never really knew what it meant.
Yeah.
Like I want to make it. I want to make it as a footy player, and I don't know if I ever did.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. Where it's kind of like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Where you're like, what am I doing here? I'm just this knockabout kid.
Exactly.
Really, like that's who I am. And even going back to when you're interacting with fans, you kind of like, what the fuck do they want to do with me? Like, I just play this. I play this game.
Yeah.
That happens to be on TV. I happen to get paid for it, but I'm
just this dude from South Auckland that moved to Brazil, and now I'm over here. So that's exactly that. Like I always sit there and I just go like, even when I'm out and I'm just like, man, you're literally like, well, like I don't know how these guys care about me. I'm just this fucking nobody guy in my world, right? I'm just this guy that loves my dog, loves my partner, and loves being home with my family and my friends and having a beer. Like I always look at it and go, this is weird. What am I doing looking at this?
It is. It's weird.
Yeah. And when I went back home right after my 100th game because all my family back in Brazil. So we went back and all the family were there, and it just felt so, I don't know why I felt so selfish. Like even like that week leading up, I told Tex Fitzy, I said, look, I don't want anything big. I told my mum I don't want her to come in and talk. Don't get too emotional. Just let me get through my week. It's a game at the end of the day for me, and obviously it means a lot to them. But even just getting back, I just have this sense of feeling of selfishness. Like I don't want everything to be about me. Like I don't want my teammates just go, this is just about Ron. Like I wanted it to be about the team, and then I wanted my family to look back at it and go, oh look, it's 100 games. It means so much to them to obviously come along that journey. But for me, I just felt like internally, I was like, oh, I'm so selfish. Like I feel selfish.
Yeah.
I don't want things to be all about me. I want it to be about my teammates, about winning the game, about coming back to Brisbane and getting our second win for the year and getting our season back on track. So that was more important to me than I think that 100 game. That's probably why.
Yeah. Mate, it's so interesting that to hear you talk like that. Because I 100, like I'm with you. I used to hate the family making a big deal. It's just like, you know who I really am.
Yeah.
This is just a part of my life, but it's not. Well, it is who I am, but it's not. And I don't want you to just. I don't want any fuss. I just want to crack on and play.
That's what I said to Fitzy. I was like, just please. And like the boys, and they were like, "Oh, it's your birthday this week." I'm like you just smile, but you're like, "Fuck!" Like I just want to get to this game, get it done with, and like carry on with my life. Yeah. And now that like obviously look back at it and go, "Look, I'm proud of it," but still don't feel like I've achieved what I wanted to in the game. And until then, you don't stop. But like you said, that day may never come where I feel that. So, but until then, you can only chase, I guess.
And I get, and you know what else you're probably unaware of is the fact that like to your family.
Yeah,
that they are all proud of you.
Yeah,
but you can't be in there because you. I don't know if I was ever like proud of myself, or if you're like feel that sense because it's just you're not doing your job, but you're just doing what you love. So it's not like And like you say, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So don't be proud of me just yet.
Well, that's
I've got the best is yet to come kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's I love like hearing from athletes and that psyche, what makes them tick. And but obviously, sorry, going back to the point is like for the family, it's like, wow.
Yeah, well, that's like, what I felt like. They got jerseys, like shirts in there all done, and I was just like, oh, tell my brother, like, look, tell my mum, grab the tickets as much as I could, and I said, gave it to my mum. I said, like, everyone can deal with you with the tickets. Obviously, I got so many friends and family, and the hard thing was trying to reply back to everyone, and it just felt like like when everyone's sharing posts and that, I just didn't want to. When you share one, you got to share it all. So I just said, oh look, I'll just put a post up at the end of it and just thank everyone, obviously. But getting home and that, just seeing all the family celebrate it, it was nice for my mum and that. But for me, it was like, it's just, like you said, it's the autopilot of my job and what I love. And it's just like playing my games. So
I'm assuming as well, like, are you quite routined in your approach to the game?
I've only just become like that as I've gotten older. When I was a bit younger, I just could get away with everything, I'd do as I please, whatever I do. Like life was full of distractions. And but as I've kind of come older, and Fitzy's been a big part of that, and my partner moving in with me as well. I've got a dog, which I thought just added on, and but yeah, like I'm starting to get into that, and I'm starting to find more consistency through my performances and the way my mind is and the way I'm settling in. Well,
just wait till you get to your 200th, because if you're routined and then there's like a big song and dance about reaching 200 games, it's like, no. You can't do this because I'm 2 days out from the game and I've got to be zoned in. It's funny how those little things can mess with the routine. Mate, you seem to have a real like love of life as well. When I watch you on the field, it seems like there's a switch, but when I've seen you off it, like you just seem to have a natural like enjoyment. You're always smiling, or you appear like you're always smiling and having a good time. Is that like where does that sort of come from?
Yeah, like obviously when you're a competitor, you've got to know when to switch it on and off. And I always said, Fitzy's a big one of this. And once you cross the line back off the field, you're a family man, you're a good son, you're a good brother, and you're a good partner and a teammate, right? And that's all I'm trying to be off the field, and I try and invest so much into my relationships with people, my energy, how I am around other people, and how I present myself. And I'm not saying I'm this perfect happy guy. I have my bad days where I struggle, but I also have things in place that help me give me my own time back. And but just I said this the other day to my teammates when I spoke about my 100th. I said, every time I walk through these gates, I'm giving everything I have to you guys every day. Every single bit of my life, every single bit of my time at that point is to use, and that's where I come from. But then when I cross that line into battle, it's like some people call me a dick, some don't like how I play, some do, and it's just like, to me it doesn't matter what everyone else thinks. It's what my 17 teammates think of me and my coach, and that's all I want, right? And that's all I need really, is the confirmation from them, and them knowing that when I cross the field, it's us together against everyone else. You know what I mean? So, and that's how I feel. I'm pretty sure.
Well, you need. A lot of people need to be that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And more should be that way.
Yeah, and like for me, it's no friends. Like ask Cheese, I've walked past Cheese and told him go get F you fat if, you know what I mean? Like when we try to be teammates, and we've done the same thing to each other. Like we played obviously keys with each other, and then cross pass when we played Storm when he was at Storm, and we'll say things to each other. That's just how it is. And every time I get into there, it's just I don't see anything but anger, and I see anything but these blokes next to me are the most important things to me at that time, and just sometimes passion takes over, and you're just in this autopilot of just I want to do whatever I can and be whatever I can for these boys to get a win and celebrate after. And I see that much in your game when you were so into this game. But yeah, I don't want to change too much of who I am, but I also feel like in certain things I can mature a bit. And I've said that too, like in terms of like getting to things that I probably don't need to. We're controlling my energy. I spoke with like Fitzy, probably something me and Fitzy touched on, was like controlling the energy within our group instead of letting it out so much. And then I get lost in the game, and then I'm trying talk shit to this dude when I'm forgetting to do my job, you know, and that's probably the biggest thing I've been trying to learn. So, yeah.
It's a fine line, that, because I always look at the example of Jared Warrior-Hargreaves.
Yep.
He's just knocked up his 300th. And one of the things I admire about Jared the most, he's never changed. And he plays on the line and above it a lot of the time, but he's never changed who he is.
Yeah.
I probably look back and think I changed after a couple of things that happened. And I was like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't have. Yeah. Maybe I needed to be that person. And that person sort of looked to get from external pressures and probably internal pressure as well. But maybe I should have stayed, I guess, truer to where I naturally was. Yeah. But just back to you and your mentality and your psyche, because I've seen you after the game with like Woodsy's little lad.
Yeah.
Who I think, have you played against Woodsy as well? And his little boy comes on, and like to see you, that's in every play. Every time something comes over to your edge, you're always up and about, whether people like it or not. But then you're this person, and then the siren goes, and then you're there with
Buster,
little Buster, just like the most friendliest guy in the world. Like it's
funny. Yeah, my teammates always go in the showers. They're like, what the fuck? Like, how you like that? And I was just, I don't know. Like it's just, to me, it's 80 minutes of war, and then after that, I can just switch like this. And I've always been that kind of bloke ever since I was little. I've always wanted to compete at the hardest level for 80 minutes, and then come off the field and, like I said, be a good guy. And now whether people take my performance on the field as I'm a dick in real life or whatever in real life, that doesn't bother me, because I know that I'm not. I know my loved ones know that I invest so much into everyone around me, and I do whatever I can for my community and for my people, right? So for me, it's, I'm Ronaldo Mulitalo as soon as I get off the field as well. So I've got to look after who I am and protect who I am. And like, kids just bring me so much joy, you know. Like I laugh because I'm like, I got no kids myself, but and win or lose, you come off the field and they're just always so happy, and I'm just like, I enjoy that. Like, and I love like getting around them. Like, they just make me look at life and go, what am I sad? Like, it's all good. It's just a game. Brings like perspective back into my life, and they don't know what's going on, right? So they just fucking come up to you, big hugs. Sometimes you need a hug as a grown man, you know, and that's what I get out of it, and also they get out of it something else too. But Buster, we've known him since he was a little baby, obviously in the bubble with Woodsy, but it's just that close relationship. Yeah,
you mentioned a few times about like, you care about what your teammates think of you and your club and your coaches. Do you get hassle, I guess, online as well? Like, you're very prominent on social media. And it happens with most footballers where the average fan would just see the game and assume you're like that 24/7. But and obviously when, you know, I know what it's like as an Everton fan. If I'm watching someone from Liverpool or United, the player that does something is a dick, but if someone from Everton did it, oh no, that's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
So we all have our biases. Do you cop much, I guess, abuse like in person or on social media?
Never in person, as you know. No one's gonna come up to your face and say you're a fucking piece of ass. But it's social media is probably the problem with social media. I think it's like you want to give everyone an insight into your life, but then they're disrespectful. And that's what makes you go, well, now I don't want to let you into what I'm doing. Now I don't want to. Like, you think about guys like Darius Boyd, who you want to see what he's getting up to, right? But he's switched off his Instagram. He's done nothing with social media. He's kept away from it. But he's a guy that's played over 200 NRL games and got so much experience. And you would love to know more about him, but because it's become that life, he's just switched away from it. Benny Hunt, for example, another example. You know, you would love to know what Benny Hunt gets up to and all these other things, but it's the same thing. Social media is chosen to push people away, and for us, it's obviously all of us getting around vlogging and stuff like that, and people just, as soon as you like have a bad, that's the problem, right? If you got to live in this space of being judged now, if you're going to be on social media, and you got to accept the goods and the bads of it, and you play one bad game and you upload a vlog from a week ago, oh, this is why you're playing shit. Yeah. I said, well, we all have hobbies outside of our jobs, right? You know, you go home and I bet you like to go watch TV and do this and this and this. You don't get judged for that. I get judged for doing videos because that's what I enjoy. And so then that's probably the most disappointing part is you want to let people into your life. You want to let people into what you do and the fans. But then there's always those people that spoil it for everyone. And then you see that and you're like, oh, well, now I don't want to fucking do it. You've put me off. You know, all you do is wait for me to play this game and you judge me off like, you know, a game. So that's probably the one thing I struggle with is like, I want to let people in. And then when I do, it's like, well, you just cop this. And
I think as well with your style of play,
yeah,
like people can't wait to see that person fail.
They can't.
They're just waiting for a mistake. They're just like waiting for you to fuck up.
Someone messaged me and they were like, we obviously beat Broncos the week before, we reversed Dolphins, and then someone messaged me and goes, suck shit, like blah, blah, blah. You couldn't even fucking tackle Hammer. I was like, I come from the other side of the wing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just the fastest bloke in the world. Like, and I'm coming from this, like, he just passed 5 other people, and then here I am, and he's like, you know what I mean? They just can't wait for you to fail, and I'm all right with that. You know, I can live with that. It's all good. It comes with the territory, I guess, and you don't want it to happen, but you know, it's the world we live in at the moment, and I think people can't wait for other people to fail, and that's all right. I'm all right with that. I can live with that.
I think it's okay to fail as well. Like we need a mentality where try things, and if it doesn't work out, like, you know,
so be it.
No NRL player is going to have a 10 out of 10 for 400 games. And, you know,
well, that's what they expect, right?
Yeah, there
like,
is an
if you play one game and they want you to play like that every week, it's like, well, sometimes it's just life's just not like that, you know.
And sport's not like that. And it'd be boring if it was. But I even say this about society now, like if you go to a cafe and get a feed, well, some people rather would go to a cafe and, you know, they have to wait a little bit longer or they get their order wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm going to post about this and, you know, comment on Yelp or whatever it is and go, disgraceful.
I honestly got no time for that, eh? Like, I'm not one of the people to go on and put a big review. I'm like, look, life goes on. No, worst things in life that could happen. I'm just gonna move on.
Just have a nice meal the next time you're out.
I'll just go somewhere else next time. I'm not that bothered.
I don't need to be informing people that the coffee
my life was shit because I had this coffee. I'm not that one of those people. I'll pay my money for my coffee, so be it. If I get a shit haircut, I'll be like, oh, hey, hair grows back until I'll go somewhere else. I'm not one of those guys.
That's a different, mate. A shit haircut is...
I don't know. I've copped a couple. I went to Bali one time. He butchered me. I said, I can't believe I'm paying this bloke, mate. I'll just get up and go, and I'll wear a hat for the rest of my trip in Bali.
Yeah, fair play. Hey, just on the vlogging, Toby Rudolph has been into you, I believe, about you know,
being a vlogger.
Being a vlogger, you've come back at him and saying, "Suck shit, you're hanging out with has-been footballers." So. I'm one of those has-been footballers, man.
Here's what was happening. He's coming at me. He's like, "Oh, why are you uploading?" And I was like, "Oh, here we go. We're having a dig at each other." I was like, "Well, what are you doing on the side? Like, that's something you enjoy, something I enjoy." And he's got me out for Derek of the Week for it. And me and him have just been going back and forth. I was just like, "Well, one day you're gonna be on my vlog. And you're going to love it." And he goes, "Yeah, true." And I was like, "So then why are you at me?" I was like, we just had this back and forth battle. We wrestled off one time, actually. That's how angry we got. So we were going back and forth, talking shit. I said, "Well, you and Liam Knight did a podcast." And then what happened there? You dished him and went with the old boys. And so I was giving him a bit of stick about that. And so the boys, me and Toby always wrestle off.
Also, to finish the dispute.
Yeah, so that's basically what put the line through the sand. Said, "Sweet." So we're in the shed. We come after our meeting after me and him are going at it, and we just keep blabbering off. And I said, "Fuck it." I said, "Wrestle off." And all the boys just getting around, just fucking. It gave the boys a bit of a buzz. Probably shouldn't be doing it, but it's you know what blokes are like. And shirts are off, and me and Toby on our knees in the middle of the shed and just going to war.
Who won?
A bit of a stalemate. He threw me around. I threw him around. I don't know. Toby might say something different, but Toby can tell you I put it on him a couple of times, so he can have this one if he wants it.
Mate, you know you need to get on your vlog.
Who's that?
Cam McInnes.
He's not a big fan of it. He's just like, you know him. He's just such a just a straight 180. Like comes in, He's got fucking a missing tooth, for God's sake. He just loves
vlog
it.
with him at the dentist.
Oh, I want to take him to the dentist. I said, I'll take you and vlog it for you if you want. And he's just like, nah. But, Cam, you know what Cam's like. He's a no bullshit policy guy. Just wants to come in and he's like the freaking godfather of our bloody team now. He's the oldest in the team now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's not even that old too. Well, you think about guys will
yeah, of course,
so,
yeah.
But yeah. One day I'll get him on.
Yeah, I reckon you need to get Cam. If you get Cam on, mate, I'll be so happy to see that. Get him on social media. He would absolutely be in his element there. Just on that with the Sharks and Cam being the oldest, losing Dale. How has the impact of losing Dale? I think it was round 3. He was, a big part of what you guys were about. When you lose someone like that, it can take a bit of adjusting.
Yeah, he's obviously the ultimate competitor and a true leader of the game, and he'll go down as one of the best. And so when you lose that type of player, it takes a bit of a sting to the leadership crew and to the whole club really. And when you walk in through the door, you know what you're going to get out of him every single day. He's got his both his biceps padded up, everything's strapped before the. We haven't even started the fucking day, and he's doing his marches up and down. I'm going, holy shit.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And
those marks. Yeah. And he's doing
like,
his, I know that one. That noise. I know that noise.
What the fuck's going on here? It's 7:30 in the morning. What are you doing?
They were not training for 2 hours, mate.
So we still got 2 hours worth of video and another meeting to go, and he's there doing his deep breathing. And so when you lose that kind of personality around the joint, you obviously it takes a little bit of a sting, but I think he's prepped us well over the last couple of years as well. Like we kind of knew, and he knew he's coming to his last couple of years. So being able to follow that and have other leaders in our team like Nico and that take so much from him and implements it as soon as he left. It's been good for us. But he's still around. Like he comes into all our leadership. Dale, he's not going to miss anything still. He
still does some of the opposed sessions.
He retired and came in the next day and trained. And I said, what are you doing? And it was the words. This is how selfless he is. Like the week before he knew he was going to retire, he already made the decision. He comes in and flogs himself with the boys that weren't playing that weekend. And it just showed that's a hard session. You're not, those sessions when you're by yourself and it's the suspended boys with the boys just coming off rehab. And they're getting flogged, and he's just amongst it. And I said, hey, you knew you were retiring, and you still did that. That's the kind of person he is. That's the type of leader he is, And for him to come in right after he announced his retirement and still be a clubman and go, where do you need me? How can I help? And he still comes in all the time as well. So
yeah, it's good that he's got that level of connection with the club still.
Yeah.
Because it can be so important, especially during some of the tough times. You need to lean on his experience.
He's helping us navigate it at the moment as well. Obviously set our season up real well, but a couple of hiccups here and there, and that's probably where you need those type of blokes, him, Wado, to come through and settle the team down and go, hey, don't hit the panic button yet. We're fucking good. It's all good. And so
that you used a good phrase there. There's no need to hit the panic button. I was looking at the overall season from the Sharks, where I think won 10 from 11. And then 1 from 4.
Yeah.
And it's well, what do we need to do differently? We'd be naive to think we were going to go unbeaten. You're in a great position. You've beaten some of the top teams now. You've beaten a lot of top 8 teams. I think from the outside looking in, certainly in a better position to win some finals games in September than previous years.
Yeah.
But is there going to be a change in how the Sharks play? Is it about we're just going to have a more final style of football from here on in, more defensive mindset? What is it that's going to put the Sharks to be ready to win some games in September? Yeah,
just obviously, Jeremy, defense wins premierships, and I think at one period there we let 100 and something points in over a 3-week period or something like that. And that's the thing that disappoints us the most, because we work so hard throughout the year to and pre-season to obviously protect that. And every time you let in performances like that, you let people in to come, you invite the outside world to come in and talk about you, right? And the best way to keep them out is to win games and do them properly and perform well. And over that kind of period, we probably weren't. No, we did one against Broncos where we played really well, but even then, we go back and leak another 30 points against Dolphins. So finding that consistency is probably our biggest thing, and coming in every week and chasing that same feeling and not getting bored of it. And Macca is a big driver of that. And when Macca talks, everyone listens. So to have a leader like him come in and break his body every single training session, it's not hard for everyone else to get on the back of it. So we'll be missing Macca over the last couple of weeks, obviously Origin. But once it all settles down as well, we have Nico back as well, which is pretty good. And when you think about it, like Nico and Tricky, Braden Trindle haven't played in a while, you know, that they played their first game together in about 7 or something weeks. And no, before that, prior to that, we were playing real good footy with them too, performing well. So I think once we settle down a little bit more again and get back into our groove, I'm pretty excited for what the year holds.
Yeah, you forget about that. Like Trindle obviously had some time away, and just how important combinations, you know, keeping close to the same sort of 13, 17 on the field each and every week has a massive difference. And sometimes it can only be a small thing, but can take a lot to adjust. Some teams handle it better than others, but you bring a good point up there about that combination between Trindle and Hines.
Yeah, so it's good to have them back now, and look, it's always going to be rusty, right? And now it's trying to get better from that Dolphins, obviously coming off a bye. You know, losing into a bye sucks. You know, you just have so many scenarios going through your head through that bye week. But I'm really excited. Nico is looking really well. He's looking happy, and that's what we want. You know, you want your leaders like that to be happy, enjoying their footy. So, I think we'll set ourselves up well in the first half of the season, but premierships aren't won midway through the year. So we've still got so much work to do, and if we want to be anywhere near the end of the year, then we've got to be serious about our defence as well. So looking forward to that. Yeah,
Nico's going to play a huge part in that. And obviously in the Origin side for game 1, not then there for game 2. I don't really think the level of performance needs to be highlighted, but it's that outside noise. And Moses comes in. Had they have won, I don't even know if that would have made a difference. I think Maguire was going to pick Moses, and that's okay. And it's like, well, what can I do now for the Sharks? Like, go and win a comp for them. Maybe he needs to think like that. Maybe he doesn't, just a game at a time. I don't know.
Wade touched on it pretty well the other day when I was listening to Triple M, and he was like, you know, the best thing you can do now is go back and play your best footy and put all your energy into playing good footy for your club, right? And I think you can see that in Nico. He's just come back from, after the world's all been against him. He's come back after the bye week, and he's just gone back to his normal self of being a leader. And that's what you need from guys like that with so much influence in the team. Is you can tell he's not wavered. He's come in and spoken in every leadership meeting, every meeting that we've had with the boys about how we're going to play this next part of the year, and what he's going to do for the team, right? And that's what we lean on, and that's the caliber of that's the type of caliber he is. So he's set up for a nice year at the back end, but obviously you got to get out there and do it and shut out the noise. So
yeah, that's it, isn't it?
I'm looking forward to it.
The only thing that's going to do anything is the actions. It's that's what it's all about. It really is. Talking about the Sharks and where they're going, obviously in a really good position as a club at the moment. Fanua Blake coming, but someone that looks like they may be moving on is Josh Hannay, one of the front runners for the Parramatta job. What does he bring to the organisation, and is it like selfishly you want him to stay, or it's like you guys hope he gets that gig?
Yeah, selfishly, like, I definitely want him to stay, and everyone at the club wants him to stay. He's just one of those guys that you need at the club to just to be a cool guy, and he's always been an easygoing guy, and he's always got a happy, smiley face when he comes into training, and always provided the boys with a bit of energy when we need it. But if he does go, I'm 100% confident he's the man for the job for them, and there'll be no love or respect lost there, and he's going to do what's right for his family as well as his career, right? And I just know that if he does go, they got a good one in him, and he's just an out and out great bloke, and an even better coach. Like, no one really sees it because he just looks like this chill dude, but he is so technically smart. He plays centre obviously, and had a couple games, but he doesn't really talk about his career because it was a bit up and down kind of thing. But when you see it, when you hear him in video and about how he attacks, it's almost like he's attacking. It's just a different type of level. Like I've had a couple coaches as well, and the way he thinks about the game, and the way he models the game is so different to how I've seen it with other people. And he's got a good balance. Like all our attacks from him and Daniel Holsworthy, like they do all our attack, and to be able to see what we can produce in attack is a prime example of what he brings in, the confidence he instills into us, and the type of footy he wants to play. So, yeah, if he does go, it'll be sad for us, but I have no doubt he'll go there and do a good job for them.
Yeah, I can only go off how people talk and like on camera and off camera or away from the mics, and there's nothing but good things or nothing but good things you hear about him. And
well, he is part of that Queensland squad as well, and that shows how well since he's been there, they've pulled out some big wins against New South Wales, and I have no doubt he's been a big part of the reason of that, and Billy's obviously got a great coaching staff there, and he's just one of those good ones that they've got, I think. Yeah,
just on the attack, obviously you're a big part of that with your finishing ability. But that one that you bombed against South, what do the coaches say to you? Like, well, I want to get your reaction from your teammates, and you do the Derek of the week.
Yeah.
What do the coaches say to you in review? Like, how do they?
It's weird because we never it was like I was waiting for it, but they never spoke about it.
Oh, really?
So I was like, that's fucking worse. I'd rather you just bring it up.
Oh, so in video it didn't even come up.
Didn't even come up. So I'm sitting there going, please just I don't want it to happen, but just do it.
Just get it over. Yeah.
And me and Footy got this relationship where if he doesn't talk to me, I know something's wrong. So I'm like, fuck. I'm sitting there in this review, and I'm like, surely he's going to say something to me. He just doesn't look at me, doesn't say anything. I'm like, it's like that disappointed dad. I'm just sitting there closing my eyes going, fuck. And then the whole time they didn't bring it up. The boys were giving me stick, and everyone's giving me stick about it. But
was anyone angry at you? Or
nah, not really. It was just like, you're a dumbass. It was kind of yeah, boy, it's my bad. That was and yeah, it was just that whole moment was just a bit of a weird one, and I was like, I better make sure I put the ball down a couple of times. And then I did one against Dogs. I put my hand out.
Oh yeah.
And I was just thinking, what was I even thinking about? And in that moment there, I was thinking, just get the ball down. Little did I know, my dumb ass, my hands are out. Second time, so I was like, went up to Fitzy after it, and we're lucky we won that game as well. Went up to Fitzy, and he's like, you're a fucking idiot. He just laughs about it. He's like, you're a fucking idiot. You're lucky we won. I was like, yeah. So me and Fitzy are pretty close. So he likes to have a giggle about things as well. And obviously it's not ideal if it happens every week, is it? The forwards I think the forwards are fucking hating me. They were like, you dumbass. So.
Yeah. Mate, obviously you're on a great career trajectory and you score a lot of tries. You'd hate to be gonna break a record and you miss out by 2.
That's the 2 I can't get back.
Yeah.
So I always think, sometimes it replays in my head those things, and I'm just like, what was I even thinking? But it's a good lesson for me. And anyone else who's trying to be a winger. Don't smile, just put the fucking ball down.
Get the ball down. It used to freak me out sometimes when they'd start going near the Dean goal, or they'd put it down with one hand. I was like, oh man, just dive, put it down. Send me into panic mode. Mate, speaking about you being 24, the future, I know you're zoned in and focused on the Sharks. What does Ronaldo Mulitalo want to achieve? You say you don't quite know. You're saying you're not there yet. What are you striving for ultimately?
Yeah, it's a bit different now. I know I'm 25 this year, and I know life doesn't, footy and life don't last forever, right? And at some point I've got to wrap it up and move on with life. And so right now sounds weird, but I'm trying to prepare for life after footy.
All right, okay.
So it's a bit of a different one, but I'm trying to prepare for life after footy. I come off contract in November.
This year?
Yeah, like I'm able to negotiate. Sorry, I come off next year, but so for me, it's trying to navigate that. I want to go uni and get a diploma in business, and so our degree in business science. So I'm trying to navigate that with my family and pick out where I want to end up and how I want to end up and how I'm going to use my money over this next couple of years and what my contracts look like, etc. So I know footy for me is important, but looking after my family is important as well, and leaving this game with something and leaving that I know I've done my best and had a good crack at on the field and off the field. That's a great opportunity I feel like I've got in my life at the moment. And I would hate to get to 30 years old and look back and go, what the fuck did I do with all that money and my time, So I'm starting to value my time a bit more, and I'm starting to value all that other stuff a bit more as well as footy's. If you play good footy, mate, the money comes, everything else comes, right? And if you have a happy life outside of it, you have a better life on the footy field. So navigating all of that and planning my next steps, I'm trying to look ahead.
Mate, it's such a mature approach to take, valuing your time, putting it into something because you'll reap the rewards much later down the track. And it's hard to make a plan for the person that you don't know yet and all the highs and lows of life, but you're doing a lot of the right things. That's quite refreshing to hear, actually. So what you're looking to actually do a business degree?
So I'm gonna get my business degree enrolled this year
with a view to go into what sort of? Do you know what type of business?
Business management. So I want to try and I'm trying to look right now to move into business and own businesses and get minor shares in businesses and be able to explore that. And I've got a couple mentors there that I said, look, I'm not looking for a handout. I'm looking to just be a fly on the wall to learn how you interact with people, how you handle your business with other people, the way you present yourself, and all these little things. So I said, look, I'm not looking for a handout. Now I've met a couple business owners that are pretty good, and I've said to them, look, I'm this young guy, don't know what the future holds for me, but I'm willing to learn. Can you just let me in? And he said to them, come back and say, look, mate, more than happy, show you what I'm doing here, blah, 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 blah. So I've just been picking brains now for the last 6 months or so. So I'm enjoying that process, and hopefully I can build connections that by the time I've done this and that, I can go out and help and turn back and help my mates out and family and younger guys out as well. So that's I wasn't expecting you to say that. Yeah, well, it's a bit weird now in my life.
It's not though, and it shouldn't be. So it's not. It's actually really mature.
Yeah,
and it's really, like I say, refreshing to hear that you've got a grasp of this isn't forever.
Yeah,
because plenty of people that get lost in the moment, and it's important to enjoy the moment and everything that comes with being a footballer. But maybe we'll never get that amount of time to work on yourself, build yourself up, and
don't get me wrong, I enjoy my time with my mates. When it's time to spend money with my mates, I'm not the stingy guy that goes, nah, I'm trying to own a business. I'm not fucking, I'm more than happy to jump in and have a good time with my mates and spend money, have dinners and blah, blah, blah. But I don't buy new clothes every week. I'm not one of those guys. I don't buy fancy stuff every week and go, look at me, I've got all this. It's not part of my DNA. It's not part of my culture. And for me, I was just able to go buy my mum a house up back in Brizzy.
Did you?
Yep. So for me to go back, I collected the keys on Wednesday.
Did you?
Yep. And that was such a surreal feeling, and to be able to have that as a moment as a family was big. None of my family members own a house. None of them have made anywhere near what I'm able to make for the family. And like I said, my career, my family have always been the center point of it, and whatever they decide and I decide, then we go that direction. That's been with managers, that's been with clubs where I want to go and end up. So to be able to, that's probably my greatest achievement in my life, is being able to, everyone talks about footy and that and being able to represent my country. Yes, that's good, but to be able to put my family in this house with security, then no one's going to come out and just kick them out one day, and inspections don't have to come every 6 weeks or something, then I feel like I've done my job as a son and as a member of my family. So for me, that's saving my money is important for that reason. And
mate, that's so cool to use sport as a vehicle to provide for those that provided for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you say about like the culture, and like we come from like different backgrounds, but like the sorry, go on.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like mum, like it's hard because you know what Islander families are like, right? If, like parents always need money. It's always that case most times, you know. These guys are looking to help their family out in different ways. But what I said to my parents was, look, if you can minimize asking for money, where like obviously big emergency, family emergencies come up all the time in every family, and everyone's got to help out. Happy to help out there, but if we want to be successful as a family, we sacrifice all the extra stuff. We save our money, we buy a house, and then we'll flourish there. You know what I mean? There's no point taking from what's going to feed us. If you know what I mean, if we get our own house, that'll take even more pressure off our family.
Yeah.
So, my family have been awesome. They've supported me, and they've done everything for me off the field, on the field. So, to be able to give back in that capacity is just one of the goals I've ticked off, and something that I get to look back at and be very proud of, I think.
Yeah, mate, you should be. That's a phenomenal achievement to do that and have that, which, you know, I've read a bit about your story about how you moved over from New Zealand, and your upbringing there was hard, and then to use the sport and have that mindset, and also not get your head turned or distracted by everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to do. I see a lot of footballers that they're prepared to play and they're prepared to train, but they're not prepared for the life away from it. Yeah. And you give athletes money and they'll find a way to spend it.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm like that. Like if you give me money, I'm fucking spending it, you know? So what we did as a family is we were like, all right, how do we protect myself and myself, you know, which is...
Yeah, how do you... Yeah.
Yeah, and so what I had to do was I had people in place that helped me make sure that I was heading towards success. So I got a finance advisor. And I'm not one of those dumb guys that go, oh yeah, here, take all my money. Yeah. I don't know, do whatever you want with it. I've got access to every account on my computer. So I've got my stocks accounts, got my separate account, my offset accounts. I've got all of that on my computer, on my phone. I can access it anytime, make sure that money's just not disappearing. I'm not one of those guys that's just go, oh yeah, take my money, do whatever you want. So I've got access to that. I check that twice, 3 times a week to make sure expenses are being paid, blah, 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 blah. So to have that guy there and then have my budget set, it's probably protected me a fair bit from myself. And you know what it's like. You get drunk with the boys and you go, fucking, yeah, you think you're the richest guy with your mates, you know, you're trying to buy bottles left, right, centre and get carried away. But yeah, to be able to have guys like that in my corner to protect me and all lean towards the same way, it's probably what saved me, to be honest, and how it's helped me achieve my goals.
Mate, that's so good to hear. It really is. I guess from a football point of view, off contract November, I'm assuming the goal is to stay on track at the Sharks, and because like from the outside looking in, they look to be building great things both on and off the field with the stadium, the investment that they've got, but also the team that they're putting together.
Yeah, I want to stay there for as long as I can, but I do understand it's a business, and I do understand that life is, you know, things happen in life, and I've got a family back in Brisbane. I've got a partner that I've got to think about as well, and her family's from Sydney, so I've got to make sure all type of parties are happy, and but ultimately it's what's best for myself and my family. And you know, if I can set myself up nicely in Cronulla, I will. But like I said to them, it's a business at the end of the day, and but wherever I end up, I want to give myself every chance I can to give you guys the best of me every day. So I'm pretty confident wherever I end up, they're going to get the best version of me.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I asked them about growing up in New Zealand, and I read a few things. What was it like? What can you remember from life growing up there?
Yeah, it's probably one of those things that you just look at and you just think, fuck, how the fuck did I get out of there without being a drug dealer, without being a gang member or. And a lot has come down to my mum being so strict, you know. She wasn't afraid to fucking come outside and grab us off the street, grab us out of our mates and get the fuck in the house. And every night, you know, we had to make sure we're inside before the light poles turned on. So, no, it's just, it's funny you say that. I took Royce back to New Zealand one time. We had a bit of a gig and we drive into my area back home and the first thing we see is this guy on his bike trying to strip a watch off an old man in the middle of the road, and this is just happening right in front of us. And we're just like, what the F's going on? I was like, don't worry about it. Like, the more you try, just leave it. It's gonna be, you know what I mean? If you get involved, it gets a bit more crazier. So, and then that was going on, and I was just like, he's like, what's going on here? And I was like, look, let's just keep driving. We drove on. Literally that same night, we go to the night markets they have in New Zealand there, and we're pulling up into the night market, and this guy's got a knife chasing this other guy in the front. And like Royce can talk about it too, and he's going, what the F is going on here? So things like that happen all the time, and I'm not saying it's a bad place, although people might say, oh, that sounds pretty bad. It's, for me, that was normal. I was born and bred there. I grew up there. My grandparents still live there, and I always go there and stay there the night and stay when I go back to New Zealand. So, but that's just, for me, it's part of my journey. It's part of me becoming who I am, and it's taught me probably so much about myself, and just being able to look back at it and go, like, you know, we come out of that area and gone through that's pretty hard. Now we're getting robbed while we're sleeping. Like, you know, one time we just moved into our new house. We all shared the one bed in the sitting room, and there was a couch behind, and Mum smokes. We shared a bit of cash out. The camera that we borrowed from my auntie to take photos was behind us, and that was all taken from us while we were sleeping. Like, that's right above our heads. Someone's come in the house, obviously just reached over the couch and grabbed all our stuff. So that's things you think about. But we look now and just so grateful that we're able to get out of that and move on with our life, I guess.
What was part of that the drive to be successful?
Yeah.
Like in whatever domain. Like I listened to this podcast with what's his name? He was on Rogan the other day. Rich Voss, like this drug dealer from South Central, and like now he's a businessman. And he's like, I just, drugs were the market for me to go into. I was going to be successful at it. Like, I had this drive. And he could have been an athlete, could have been an entrepreneur, could have been anything. But the domain, the easiest one for him was drugs, to navigate a life out of that particular situation. Was there something in you there where you maybe consciously or subconsciously went, I'm gonna drive for something here?
Yeah, I've always been an emotional and a self-aware child. Like, I was always aware of what was going around me, like the surroundings and that. And I knew things weren't normal. I was like, oh, well, that's not really normal living in a garage. You know, it's like, all my mates at school live in houses and I live in a garage and all these other things, you know, but I understood my situation with my parents, you know, my mum, I'm struggling. So I was always grateful, but I was always like, there's got to be something better for us, you know. And that's kind of my mum's mindset, was like, she would always tell us this is not for us. We're going to, you know, things will get better. And she always said, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. So I always believed that. And as we got older, it was like, the more sacrifices I saw my mum take, the more I started realizing we're going to have to take the same sacrifices as kids as we get older to be able to give back. And so when I got older, as I was getting older, I just kind of said, like, I want to do whatever I can to achieve this goal. Like, and every birthday wish, I used to wish I played in the NRL. Like, I would close my eyes and go, I just want to be successful. I want to play in the NRL. And I wish that for every day, every birthday, until I got to actually live it out. So, for me, yeah, it's just look at my old girl and I just think, man, I just want to do you so proud, and I want to keep proving to you that how much love we have for you in that, and how much the sacrifices you gave up into to me and my siblings. So, yeah, she's been a big part of it.
Mate, I spoke a bit about culture before, and like the culture I come from is like rebel against the parents.
Yeah.
Like rebel against what mum and dad are saying. Like, I'm trying to think as like a kid, if mum said something to me, or like, I'd be unaware of the sacrifices that my parents were making. Like, it was totally, it was ignorance is bliss, right? I was just like, I was on this ride. I was one of 7. I knew that.
You got a big family.
we did have a big family, like, and we didn't have much, but I was probably unaware of the sacrifices that were going on. And probably, I think within like my peer group at school and stuff, it would be like, oh, what do they know? Like, why would I want? Oh, you know, mum's doing this or dad's doing this. You know, they're kicking my ass over this. Like, I'm almost like better than that in a way. It's weird that was sort of our culture. So, where does that come and how? Because where does that come that what mum says goes?
I actually don't know. Like, it's more of a cultural thing. Like, I think it's just been your elders. So we hold our elders at the utmost respect. Like, so our old people, our grandparents, and that when they come over, it's like the whole family, the whole world stops with them. You know what I mean? Like, our whole family, whatever you're doing, you drop and you cater to them, and it's just always been like that. So when it filters down, you always, even my brother's got the utmost respect from our family, is that he leads it now. Like, my older brother's probably the leader of my family now, where he decides what the family does, as weird as that sounds. But because my mum's getting a bit older, she's kind of just in the background. Obviously, she gets a big say in things, but my older brother's starting to take control of the family a bit more. And when family needs things to be done, it's through him, and none of us get a say in it, kind of thing. We do, but it's like, we've got to be respectful about it. We've got to show compassion about everything that we do. And but yeah, no, it's just, I don't know where it comes from, but our elders always, we hold them with the utmost respect.
Well, like your friends at school in New Zealand, did they have the same mentality of like, oh, I'll listen to my folks, even if there was like you say, there was a lot of crime? Like, I can't imagine them were like listening to. Well,
heaps of them were they were kind of, it was too late for them, you know. Their families are really doing it, so it was just a way of life for them, you know. It was for them. Doing drugs I was only like 8 or 9, like 10, and I was seeing drugs in there, and that's no fault. My parents were the ones that showed me. It was like, I'd be out on the street with my street mates, and they would have it, you know. It was just like there at their house, and it was just, oh shit, like, no, that's not me. I'm just gonna, you know, kind of thing. But for most of my mates, it was just a way of life for them back there, and it was just something that happened. But I don't look at it. I don't look back and go, I look down at them. Like, they're still some of my best mates, and I love them so much, and I always go visit them when I go back home, with no judgment, you know. I just say, look, we live 2 different lives. I still love you. I still care for you, and it's just we're at different parts of our lives, and our relationship when we were younger is still there from that day. But yeah.
Well, I often think about like how we are all products of our environment, and you've got like the natural genetics to be a rugby league player, but you also need to foster an environment, and sometimes you need those experiences in that environment to get the actual for you to reach your potential, and to have those things that drive within you. And I think it comes from those environments, because you know what life's about. Life's, for a lot of people, it's not cruising down the Esplanade in Cronulla. It's like, it's tough for some people.
That's why I struggled living in Cronulla. When I first moved here, I stayed with a homestay family that were from England as well, and but they've been here for years, and I struggled sitting at a table with these people, and I struggled living with them. Like, it was just we were 2 different personalities, and I was never used to having my own room. Like, I got there and they gave me my own room, and I was like, oh shit, my own bed. And they were like, yep, this is your room, this is blah, 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 blah. And it just felt like I was in this hotel. And for the first couple of weeks, it felt like a holiday, you know? I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm coming on a holiday. And so after that kind of honeymoon phase of feeling like I was on a holiday, that's when it hit me real hard, and I struggled real hard when I got in. I just didn't know how to live here, you know? We lived 2 different separate lives, and I've really seen, my life was like this for so long, and then I come into this life where I got my own room, I got my own drawers, got my own bed, you know, I was so used to sharing with my family, my brothers in there. So I struggled with that bit of life for a little bit, and to be able to look at it now, it's just like, oh,
yeah,
it's pretty cool how I've adapted to the life, and it's taught me so much as well by myself, you know.
Yeah.
You're probably the same. You come from England as well, and you've gone, oh, well, I've had to adapt and learn different ways of how these guys are compared to how I normally am. So that was a big lesson for me.
Yeah, it's definitely different here.
Yeah.
Like living, I guess, in Sydney versus living in Liverpool is completely different how we act. Yeah. And like what is normal here versus what was normal over there. I
still wig out at some shit like that. They see normal here, and I'm just like, oh, well, that surprised me, you know. Like I'm still learning as I go along, but yeah, I love living here though. It's awesome.
Yeah, if there was things that happened in Liverpool happened in the Shire, it would be like front page news.
Yeah, that's
so
what I think.
Just be like,
well, that's what you know. We're probably from the same type of like people. It's just it happens. It's a way of life, and for that, it happens all the time. And then to see it here will be blowing up on the front page of news and that. So
yeah. Well, so you moved at 13.
Yeah.
What was behind the move to Brisbane?
Mum, it was weird. Like Mum just said, I would have been young. She was like, oh well, we were starting to take football. Like we're starting to make little representatives in New Zealand.
Sorry, just quickly on growing up in Auckland, was uni ever an option?
I played school, but not like I used to play soccer for a fair bit. So I played soccer until I was about like 9 or something. I can't remember what age I finished up, but I played soccer. I loved it.
Yeah.
And how I come about footy was my little cousin was playing, and my mum was like, "Oh, you got to go watch your cousin play." And I was like, "Oh, sweet." So we went. Didn't have a clue. Never watched league as a young fella. Only Origins and then and Kiwi Test and that. But yeah, and then we went and watched my little cousin play, and I just loved the brutality of it.
Yeah.
And it's probably my way of going through some of my childhood trauma was beating someone up in a game, right? And I just looked at it and I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Like soccer, you can't really do much, you know? You're slide tackling someone and getting sucked shit. That doesn't work, you know? So I thought, oh, I might give it a crack. And I told my mum, gave it a crack, and obviously loved it. But then got to this age and started making little representatives, and mum was like, oh, I don't know what made her ask us. She was like, if you want to take it serious, we'll move to Australia. Just let me know.
Really?
That's what she like. And she's asking her twin boys this, and we would have been like 11 or something. And I was just like, she's actually asking us. And I said, yeah, I want to go over and give it a crack. And she's like, you sure? She's like, yep. And I was like, yep. So we packed up everything. Didn't have much money. It was just sell as much as we could and get over here, and we'll figure the rest out as we got here. So mum just grew some balls, I don't know how, and just said, I'm going to go do it.
Found a way.
And back the kids. And no, it's obviously paid off. So it's just weird that I remember that so vividly in my mind was her asking, are you guys sure you want to go over? If you want to give it a crack, we'll go. So she did it.
That's awesome.
She didn't give a fuck. She was like,
we're going to do this.
And her parents, all our family lived there still. And so she just got up and left.
Wow.
So I was just
must have been a huge, I know she's asking you, but there must have been a huge decision for her.
Yeah. Well, we were all
and to separate herself from the roots of the family, especially when you talk about how important family is and the decision making around how families operate. It's
couldn't believe she left her mum and dad. Really, my grandparents. Like that was everything. That was her personality, was looking after them and catering for the family. So we're a tight-knit family as well. So for us to just get up and remove ourselves from everyone that was back here was a bit weird for me to look at. But I was like, oh, she actually backs us here, so why not give it a crack? I'm already here. Yeah.
Did you say you were a twin?
Yeah, I'm a twin. I got a twin brother. He plays at Para at the moment. So he's in their cup side at the moment. So I got a twin brother.
How's he go?
He's one of those guys. He's a lot more talented than me. Like he's just trying to figure out life as it goes along though, but still trying to figure out who he is, I think. And I love him to death, and he lives with me now, but now I do everything for him as much as I can. And then but yeah, he's enjoying his footy at the moment, and
yeah, good.
We never talk about footy though in my home. It's like I just don't like talking about footy. I don't like talking about footy in general, like outside of footy. Like I don't watch games. I'm not one of those guys. No.
You're not like a student of the but you'd get plenty of video in your prep, right? I'm assuming, and then
I'll watch a little bit of like footy if I'm out at a pub and having a feed. And
did you watch much growing up?
Nah, I watched Broncos. The only games I would watch is Broncos and a bit of Warriors games when Shawnee was kicking off well and James Maloney was there kicking around. I love watching Jimmy Maloney play. And then was just never into it fully. It was kind of just like, if it was there, it was there. You know, I never grew up on it, so all I watched was Origins when I was and the Kiwi and I was Anzac Test. So it's weird. I don't watch footy at all. Probably only like some of the games, like when it's Penrith versus Para. That's a pretty good game to watch. So and then sometimes I watch the Roosters versus Rabbits, but other than
just
that,
generally remove yourself away from it, switch off.
Yeah, I struggled like getting away from the game because I'd always watch it. So I think that's most of the boys now. To be honest with you, like it's just because you open up your phone, it's all over Instagram. Open up Facebook, it's all over there. TikTok, all over there. So you can never get away from it. But I think it's important for me to get away from it.
Yeah. I asked you about stuff with the Sharks, but New Zealand as well. Things have turned. They went through a few difficult years there.
Yeah.
Beat the Aussies last time around in last October or November. Have you got big ambitions? There's a World Cup coming up.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, or Maguire's not going to. Who's coach?
Stacey
Jones is there. Yeah. Do you have much conversation with him? Like obviously I know there was that situation with Queensland, but all in on New Zealand now. Have you got ambitions with them? And probably do you realise the impact you could have if New Zealand win another World Cup in terms of potential 18th, 19th or 20th team coming in?
Yeah, no, it's massive. Look, when we first went into camp, I think the one thing that Madge did really well was unite the group and unite New Zealand in that sense of he said to us, you got to think about all these old guys that have come before you and gave the country a World Cup and brought the country to love the Kiwis, just like how we were kids and watching the Kiwis. And for us, over the last couple of years was instilling back that pride that we had in that jersey. And, we felt like we let New Zealand down a fair few times. And I think for us, it was just going out there and giving it a red hot crack and letting them be proud of something. And the week we lost in Melbourne against the Aussies, I remember that following week, because we had a drinking ban that whole time we were there. So, but that week leading up to the final, I just never had so much confidence that we were going to get it done. Like, we had leaders like Fisher Harris, Leota, that leading. Those are the two premier props, and then Jerome Hughes and all these guys around us. It was like, what's stopping us? I remember we had a meeting just before we left Auckland, and Foz got in the middle of the group. And Foz never really talks. He talks when it's like time to talk, but when he talked, he's just like, when you like lay your head to F and rest, you got the full confidence that you're going to go out there and do the best job for New Zealand, for this team. To hear him talk and how passionate he was just the best thing. And you're like, how can you let him down, This is a 30-plus-year-old guy in the middle playing at 9. He never played there.
Yeah.
And just throwing his fucking body at guys like Tino Payne, all these guys that are just the premier props of the competition, right? And we just thought, we can't let this guy down, So to be able to go out there and do that, and obviously we want to win the big one, the World Cup. That's the big image. But if we know we can start beating teams like the Aussies, then it'll just instill more confidence for us to go forward. Yeah,
it'd be huge for obviously, I want the impact to be felt in England, but I know that there's plenty of other countries that are striving for that. Samoa, Tonga.
I want to verse England one day. Like, I've never got to verse them, mate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't had the chance. I've versed Tonga, Samoa, and then Aussies a couple of times. So, and Fiji and that, Lebanon, obviously in the World Cup. But they're probably one team I really want to verse. You can tell they love that, like, physically, the up front in your face. And I feel like I would love that. That would be
Well, mate, I think I don't know if there's a tour coming up. We used to play the Kiwis all the time
That's
on
what I was
tours.
thinking,
Like
yeah.
the tours over there, you'd love it, mate. Like it's just
all the boys
different,
always
yeah.
talk about it, and I'm like, fuck, like, I just want to get one
Yeah.
over there, like, and go enjoy it. Obviously travel, but yeah, I don't know why. I just feel like the brutality that they bring, I just love watching it. Like I'm like, oh, that would be pretty cool to get amongst that and smash each other's heads in, and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that would be pretty fun, I reckon. So.
Mate, as well playing in the cold over there in winter. Like,
looks
well,
bad,
obviously
man.
you're into your Premier League as well. You get to see some of
I
those
bought my
games.
Manchester shirt last time.
Yeah,
we
I
were off
remember,
it.
mate. I was off it. Anyway, let's not bring that back up. England actually got a draw this morning.
This morning?
Yeah.
Who were they versing?
Denmark.
Denmark.
Yeah, so, but we'll be all right. Mate, we got 4 questions for each and every guest that we do.
Cool.
So, firstly, dream spine, a 1.679. Sort of no real rules on it, mate. So just
fullback Billy Slater. I'll go Cam Smith at my 9. And my halves pairing would be Darren Lockyer. And I'll go JT.
yeah, nice. That's
pretty good, eh? It's
pretty
not too
good,
bad.
mate. Yeah. I think we've had that combination before, but that is a pretty
Basically
decent
a
spine.
Queensland, the Queensland spine for the whole
I
time.
like that. If footy didn't exist, what do you think you'd be doing now?
I'd be a serviceman, like I'll be a fireman or a policeman or something in the community. I wouldn't building. I suck shit with building in that, like my hands in that. But if it's a service to someone else, I'd thrive in that, I think.
You don't think you'd have been a business owner?
Oh, like maybe dabble in it, but for me, I just love putting smiles on people's faces. Like that's my thing, you know. Like I'm passionate about that.
Yeah.
Even though even if I was to own a business, I reckon I'll just brush it and let that come in every week, and I'll just go do something in the community. That's what I reckon.
Community's big to you, isn't it?
Love it. I just love seeing smiley people. It just makes me happy. I'm like, oh, you're happy, I'm happy.
Mate, I love sitting and talking with you because the person you see for 18 minutes is not the person. And mate, you're not the first guest that we've had on that, you know, paint a different picture to the person that we see on the field. I've really...
Jared's one of those people. Jared Warrior agrees. You see him on the field, you get fight. That guy's a bit different, but then the best bloke off the field I've met. So there's probably plenty of them.
Yeah, they're all over our game. A sliding doors moment that you think about?
Probably when Footy arrived to the club, like was because I was a bit off it, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I want to go follow Bomber. Like I just love Bomber so much, and I was like, it kind of kept me in balance, and the way it all come down, I was like, oh, I don't know, but then. Yeah, the way Footy was able to focus and bring my best out of me, and then I think that was like my moment there where I was like, oh, this could either make me or break me. So,
what did he do for your sort of development?
Just like it's not even on the field; it's all off field, which is crazy, you know. Obviously, spoke about routine, but he just wants you to be a good man, you know, and that's why I hate so much losing and disappointing him. Like it's. Because he invests so much into us and trusts us so much, it's like letting him down is the worst thing for us, I think. So he's very much a father figure to most boys, and just gives it to you like a man. He treats you like a man. Yeah. You know, you don't want to be treated like a boy. You're like, oh well, you can keep treating me like a boy. I'm just gonna act like one. So, but he treats us like men. He doesn't beat around the bush. He addresses things. He doesn't try and put you fucking shame you in front of everyone. He'll protect us every day of the week in front of everyone. He'll never bag us out or say they played shit or this and that, and press conferences and that. He'll protect us, but he'll let us know he played like shit. But just things that it's not even on the footy field that he's done. It's just off.
Yeah,
that I've enjoyed so much.
Yeah, I like that. The most interesting person that you've met in life so far?
Heaps of like for me, it's just heaps of business guys. They're such quirky dudes, like owners in that. They just come up with like. You've probably dealt with heaps of them too, and you're like, they're just a different cat to us, you know, and their humour is so different to mine, and but yeah, probably them. Like I've had the luxury of being able to sit in some pretty good conversations with guys that have been successful. So I look at that as even a privilege. That's pretty cool for myself to.
Yeah,
I'm proud of that. You know, to be able to sit there and hold a conversation and be like that. So that's pretty cool.
Mate, you know what's crazy? You say that like you're proud of yourself that you can sit and hold a conversation with business owners, but they would look at you and be like, "Wow."
Yeah.
Like they would be wowed by what you do each and every week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, they just look at me like, I don't know how you do that, blah, blah. So it's a bit of like a two-way street.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so impressed with what you've done. And they're like, I just sit here, do this and this. You doing that and that. I'm like, well, I like what you're doing. You like what I'm doing. It's all good.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, Ronnie. Well, that wraps us up, mate. I really enjoyed that chat.
Thank you.
Like, mate,
appreciate it.
Fascinating insight into like your psyche, how you're the person you want to be, what you're willing to do for your teammates, but also your backstory as well, and what you've done for your family, in like providing for them, mate. It just it says a lot about you as a person and a human being. Yeah. Like you should be.
Well, it's good. Like, I was thinking about it because I was like, oh, what do I want to do after? Like, you know, jamming that. That's what I was talking to some of the club about. Guys, and I was like, well, you can't be like Jammer girls are on that all. They've been around for that long, you know. They're lucky. They're the lucky ones that have been able to go along and play for so long. You know, I might not be that lucky one. Yeah. So, fuck, what better way to prepare myself? You know, then if it hits the wall, then I've got something at least. Yeah, appreciate the talk, Jammer.
No, I appreciate it, mate. Your level of intelligence is and awareness is top notch, mate. It really is, and I know our listeners will love hearing this side of you, mate. It's blew me away. It really has.
Appreciate that, Jammer.
All right, all the best for this year as well, lad.
We'll catch up throughout the year.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm looking forward to the Sharks in September.
Yeah. Thanks, Jammer.